my name is Kat, and today I'm here with Stephenie Meyer, and we are in Forks, Washington for the 10th anniversary celebration of Twilight. I have some questions here. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. If you could tell your 2005 self one thing, what would that be?
I don't think I would, because what would I say, hold on, it's going to get weird. I think if I had been expecting it to be a lot, that I might have just quit, because it would be, I don't, the big stuff is scary for me, and so it's probably good that I had no idea that anything was going to do well.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question. Twilight got so big. Was there a moment or a tipping point when you realized it was starting to get huge?
There were a couple of places when it first came out and went on the bestsellers list. That was something I never dreamed, and so I was done probably within the first 5 weeks after the book came out. Okay, I've hit the pinnacle. I can quit now. But then when the movie started and the professionals weren't ready for all the people that started coming out to watch, and no one seemed prepared for any of it, and I realized, wow, this is even big for them. This is big for everything, and so that was kind of a weird sensation.
Twilight really opened up the door to YA for a lot of people. I know myself, Twilight is what got me back into reading after Harry Potter. So was there a book that really got you into YA, or just a book that was really influential to your reading and writing?
I had kind of two phases too, because I started reading adult fantasy novels because that's what my dad had around the house. I never read kids books, and then when I started, I kind of went backwards, and Anne of Green Gables was a huge one for me. That was one of those life changers. And then with classic YA, Lois Duncan was a big part, which is funny because we're working on Down Dark Hall now, and that was, we acquired that because that was the scariest one when I was 8. That was the book that scared me to death, and when it was available, it was my favorite of all of hers. We're like, oh, we have to try and get this to happen.
So let's talk about Sickle Films for a moment. You have a couple of projects that you're working on, and a lot of them have kind of a horror theme, or a
unintentional
dystopian. Yeah. Can you just talk a little bit about what you were drawn to with these specific projects?
We don't have a genre or a type. We just go with a book that we can't put down, a book that we come back to over and over again. So we read a lot of YA, so a lot of it is YA with Not a Drop to Drink. That was when my partner Megan found, and I said we don't have room for anything else, but I read it, and then I had to go and read it again, and I found myself thinking about it. It's those type of books that we go back to. Down a Dark Hall was one from when I was younger that has always resonated with me. The Rook is totally out of our wheelhouse. It's adult, we're doing it television, but it was just a book we loved to read and reread, and things we want to see. I think everyone who's a fan of a book, there's the worry, right, of making it and not having it sync up right, but also just that desire to see what would it look like if we could put it on a screen. And we're just the biggest fan geeks, really.
Yeah.
And we want to see it on a screen too.
That's so awesome. So next up I have here about Storytellers, the project that just recently completed. You kind of invited people into your head, into your world, to create fan fiction. So what was that like from an author perspective?
In the beginning I was a little worried, because I find that when people take the characters that I work with the most and put words in their mouth, it always sounds really out of character to me. It's that person would never say that. It just sounds off. But with the side characters, it was really interesting. They came up with some things, like with the groundskeeper. I really liked that mythology, this idea of why he would be hiding out in an asylum, and why he wasn't, kind of roaming like other vampires. That this was this bad blood of the Volturian. He's totally undercover, and it all worked for me. And there were a lot of them that just had little things that I really enjoyed. So it's fun seeing your characters come to life in new ways.
So was that kind of the most surprising thing, that some of it did feel like you could have come up with it, or it was almost canon kind of to your world? Or was there something else that surprised you about that?
I think that was one of the things, was kind of how natural some of it felt. I think it was exciting and surprising, how beautifully they were able to do things. Maya with Consumed, just the way she captured the light on the children's hair and in the grass, it was so beautiful, and a lot of beauty came out of it, and that was a very welcome surprise.
Do you ever think you would revisit the Twilight world now to explore other stories or other characters? You have so many minor characters, and the world is big. Do you think you'd ever revisit it?
I would never say never. It's one of those things where any writer will tell you characters get in your brain, and you know what would happen to them, you know where their story would go. There are other pieces I've worked on, and it's not something I'm doing right now, like going ahead with Renesmee and Jacob, you know, but I know what would happen. And so I'm not going to say that there's never going to be a time when I don't want to sit down and write that. It could happen.
Are you currently working on anything writing-wise?
There are some things. I have a problem of writing stories halfway through and then starting a different story. It slows me down, but hopefully it won't be too much longer before I have something new up.
Awesome. Very exciting. I'm sure a lot of people, myself included, are really
It
looking
probably
for that
won't be
next
Twilight though, so there's a good chance no one but me and 3 other people want to read it. So, and that's fine.
one. I want to read it. Are there any current or recent books that you've read and loved?
I was late to the game with Rainbow Rowell, but now I'm totally. Oh yeah, so you
I've
know,
read all of her books. I
Yes.
love her.
They speak to me too. So
Do you
yeah,
have a favorite one?
I'm a little torn. I mean, I really loved Eleanor and Park, but there was a lot for me emotionally in Landline. Just that was identified with the character a lot, and sometimes it was like I could have said that. You know how you really get into one. So it's hard to choose.
All right, so thank you so much for joining
Thank
me
you.
and answering these questions. That is going to be it for this video today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will have another video up soon.